You are not the problem.
You are not the problem.
My relationship to you is the problem.
My relationship to you is the problem.
The way that I have used you is a problem.
The way that I have used you is a problem.
You are not the enemy.
You're not the enemy.
I don't hate you.
I don't hate you. I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of the Drop It Weight Loss Wellness Wisdom Podcast. If it's your first time on the show, welcome. I'm your host, Nick Geoppo, and I lost 110 pounds in 2019, and I've kept it off for 6 years after an entire lifetime of losing weight and gaining it back every week, every year, restarting every Monday on every diet you, me, or anyone has ever heard of or ever even considered trying. 2019, I did it on something that I call the common sense diet system because it rewired my mindset, my relationship with food, my relationship with self, and it helped me address the things that led to me being fat in the first place so I could actually become the healthy person that I really wanted to be the entire time and not feel like food controlled me and being super obsessed with weight loss and constantly thinking about I wish that I was for 99% of my mental free space. Today we have a very special guest, and it's my mom again. My mom is going through the same common sense diet system that I put myself through 6 years ago. I'm coaching her and guiding her through how to actually put obesity behind her for the final and the last weight loss journey of her entire life. So if you didn't watch the last 2 episodes, you're going to want to go watch those before you watch this. This is the end of her second week, the start of her third week. In this episode, we're covering how to get food to stop controlling you. We're going through a specific exercise on how to take control back from food. So when you hear people say, I'll just work on your relationship with food, but they don't actually tell you how. Typically, those are people that were never even fat on Instagram, just saying buzzwords to get you to listen to their content. In this episode, you're going to actually learn how to actually do that instead of just thinking that you should, but not actually knowing what to do. Also, we're discussing when you're not happy with losing weight at a rate that you think you should. You're losing a half a pound one week and you think that it should have been 3 and that causes you to quit. That's also going to be addressed in this episode. So if you relate to those 2 things and you think that would be helpful, watch this all the way through. If you don't relate to those 2 things and you're on a sustainable weight loss journey that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life, don't waste your time with this podcast. This is specifically for the people that have been owned by food and spent their whole life wishing that they were not fat. Enjoy the show. And we are live. End of week 2, start of week 3. How are you feeling about the journey so far?
I'm feeling good for the most part.
What has you feeling good for the most part? Last time you were excited and feeling phenomenal. What's different now?
That's because I lost like 4.5 pounds. This week I only lost half a pound.
You only lost what do you weigh right now?
204.6.
And last week you were 205.2. So you lost 0.6 pounds, right?
Right.
So not half a pound. We lost 60% of a pound, which is different.
Right.
What is it about losing 0.6 pounds? How much did you want to lose this week?
Probably the same as last, at least 2 pounds.
So you want to lose 4.5 pounds on week 1. You want to lose 2 pounds on week 2.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, when you've done weight loss journeys, how much weight have you lost in the first week? In the second week?
Usually I lose more the first week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, actually. I'm not sure.
Cool. The second, usually more than half a pound the second week, or more than 0.6 pounds, right?
Yes.
And what has happened every other time that you've tried to lose weight before?
Well, I give up usually. Or I gain it back.
So what is it about 0.6 pounds that doesn't feel like it was enough weight to lose?
Well, if I did that, that's only a little over 2 pounds in a month. I'd be on this for 2 years to hit my goal.
Yeah, but you've actually lost 5 pounds in 2 weeks, right?
Right.
And what is our weekly goal that we talked about at the beginning?
I think you said 1 pound to 1.5 pounds.
1 to 1. Yeah, it's perfect. 1 to 1.5 pounds. So is it fair to say we're actually ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't looking at it like that.
Is it helpful to look at it like that?
Yes.
So this is the part where people quit, right? When they get on the scale and they feel like they didn't lose enough. And then they just say, oh, fuck it. Well, like, I'm going to, like, what am I even doing? And then they kind of just start eating a little different and then kind of go off the rails. Can you feel that?
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the point where you get to prove to yourself that you're actually serious about this, because we're doing this for life, not just to hit a number on the scale as quickly as possible, right? So if you were doing this for life and you lost 0.5 pounds, if you were to lose 0.5 pounds every single week, you would be happy with that in 2 years, wouldn't you? You'd be 58 years old looking back being like, wow, I feel really good.
Yeah.
So we're not in a rush to get there. That's why I'm saying it's going to take us a year. But you remember at the very beginning, you said, no, I'm going to do it in like 5 months. And I said, we're going to make it take a year. This is the really confronting part of this, is that we're not in a rush to get there. We're just going to get there as it happens. Okay.
Okay.
So the challenge here is to just keep eating in a healthy way, even though it's easy to say fuck it because you don't feel like you lost enough. There's going to be weeks where you lose a lot of weight. There's going to be weeks where you lose 2 pounds. There's going to be weeks where you lose zero. There's going to be weeks where you lose 1.5 pounds, and there's going to be another week where you lose 0.7. But we're going to try to average out to that 1 to 1.5 pounds a week. Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to look at, in a perfect world, you wouldn't even weigh yourself unless once a month. Doesn't that feel crazy? And the reason why is because you get really tied up to the number on the scale, right?
Right.
But if we were just weighing ourselves once a month, you wouldn't even know what you weighed. And then you'd just be like, oh, in the first month, I lost 11 pounds. It wouldn't be like week 1, I lost 5, week 2, I lost 0.5. You just look at the monthly trend. We just need to weigh ourselves each week so we can make sure we're heading in the right direction right now. Okay.
Okay.
You were messaging me back and forth about some bloating. Is it possible that the bloating has caused you to hold on to a little bit more weight?
I think so. It's not bloating that you can see, but like my hands, like my ring isn't as loose as it was last week.
And what do you think has caused that bloating?
Well, you said it must be that I'm not drinking enough water because I'm not eating salt or anything. I'm not eating anything that should be retaining water.
And how much water are you drinking in a day?
I usually have 2 of these, and I think they're 32 ounces each. But yesterday, in 24 hours, I had 3 of those.
Okay. So it sounds like you're definitely drinking enough water. Have you ever been bloated like this before?
Yes.
When's the last time you
On
were
and off
bloated?
for a couple of years.
So it's been a recurring issue. And what have you done how long has it lasted in the past and how have you worked through it?
Well, I've just kind of dealt with it. And then the
Mhm.
doctor put me on the diuretic. And then
Mhm.
I got really sick from the diuretic.
So the last time you just kind of stuck it out, did it last a couple days or a week or how did that work?
I think it just comes and goes.
Mhm. So the idea, as we lose weight, this will be less of an issue. This might not have anything to do with the food you're eating. It sounds like it might not even have anything to do with hydration. But let's say that you are holding on to water. How much water might you be holding on to?
I don't know.
Like, is it fair to say you might be holding on to half a pound to a pound of water?
Maybe. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Well, if you are, then maybe you actually lost more fat than you think that you did. Because the idea that you're super bloated and holding on to water and only lost 0.6 pounds is actually pretty amazing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Do you,
that's
do you feel a little bit better about it after thinking through it?
a little bit. I'm obsessed with the number on the scale. Super
Why are
hard
you?
for me not to
Yeah.
weigh myself every single day
Yeah, and it's great that you haven't done that, but why are you obsessed with the number on the scale?
because then it shows that I'm making progress.
Well, let's go through our weekly check-in, okay?
Okay.
Okay, just first numbers that come to you, 1 through 10, how motivated are you about life?
I'm motivated about life.
Mhm.
Probably, I don't know, like maybe a 7 or an 8. I mean, I'm not depressed.
Okay. How hungry have you been in the last week, 1 through 10? 10 is I've been hungry every single day constantly. 1 is I was never hungry. So different than cravings, like actual bodily hunger.
Probably 4 this week. I
Okay,
was a little more
4.
hungry this week.
It's okay. And then same thing with cravings. How many cravings have you had? It's 1 through 10. 10 is
Oh,
constant, 1 is never.
this was hard because on Facebook I keep getting these pop-ups about buying these candies from all over the United States, like this box,
Yeah.
like $40 a month, and it's
Mhm.
driving me crazy. I'm like thinking, "Oh, I want to join that, but I can't right now. I shouldn't." So I've had a lot
Mhm.
of cravings watching all those different candies. So I'd say like a 5 or 6.
Okay. 1 through 10, I like the foods that I am eating. 10 is I love them. They're my favorite foods ever. 1 is I hate this. It's just weight loss food.
6.
Okay. 1 through 10, I feel like I'm missing out on my favorite foods. 10 is yes, I miss them so much. 1 is not. I didn't really think about them.
Probably 4.
Okay. Hip pain, 1 through 10.
I like 7 or 8 this week because I've been sleeping on the couch with the puppies, so
Okay.
comfortable.
Confidence that this is the time I will actually keep the weight off.
I'm
Okay.
sure I'm going to do it.
Supported by others in your life, not me.
10.
Anybody else in your life, how supported do you feel?
10.
And who most of that is Aaron, your husband? Is there anyone else in your life that feels like they're very supportive of you in this journey?
Peyton, and of course you, even though I'm not supposed to say you and my friends,
Mm.
everybody's checking up on me and asking how it's going.
And what does that feel like?
It's good.
Does that feel like a win that you have so many people that care about you?
Yeah, I've always had lots of people that care about me.
Tell me about, so last week you were a 5 out of 10 on motivation. This week you said you're a 7 or an 8. Is it fair to
Oh,
say you feel a little more motivated this week than last week?
yes,
Yeah. Could you say that that's a pretty big non-scale victory?
that is a good victory.
Would you have rather lost 1 full pound and motivation stayed the same or felt more motivated and lost 0.6?
I don't know. I
Can
think
you
it could
can,
go either way for me.
yeah,
I don't want to feel not motivated because that's a gross
Mhm.
feeling.
Yeah. You are not the number on the scale. The
Yeah.
number on the scale is just representative of what you're doing on a month-to-month basis, not even a week-to-week basis, right?
Hmm.
The actual progress that we're looking at measuring is all of these other things that I just talked about, because the scale has nothing to do with sustainability. You've already hit your goal on the scale at different points in life, right?
Right.
And then you've gained it back.
Yes.
Do you agree that the things that we're looking at off of the scale are more important than on the scale?
Yeah. I mean, I need to feel good and be motivated and all that stuff.
Because if you lose weight and you get down there and you don't feel good, what's going to happen?
I'll probably gain it back because I'll just feel blah and start eating.
Yes, absolutely. So the most important thing is that we feel good on the journey, or as good as we can. And you've had multiple victories in that area in the last week, but some of this other shit is coming from the fact that you're bloated and you're sleeping like shit because the puppies had a litter and your hip hurts and all this other stuff that we're working on, right? But what other non-scale victories did you have this week? So give me the highlights of the week.
Non-scale victories?
Mhm. Meaning that if we weren't weighing ourselves, you didn't even know what you weighed, and I said, "Tell me about the things that went well this week," what would they be?
Well, I'm happy about the way I ate this week. You
Mhm.
know, I didn't have a bite of candy again. I haven't gone to fast food.
How long has it been since you've had candy?
2 weeks.
Would you have rather lost in the last 2 weeks, you've lost 5 pounds, right?
I think 4 point something. I don't
Would you
know.
rather lost 4 point something or 5 pounds in 2 weeks and not eaten candy and felt good about it, or lost 6 pounds and eaten candy every day but felt like shit?
Well, I prefer to feel better than feel like shit for
Yes, yes. So hold both your hands up like this. This left hand is I'm losing weight faster, but I'm eating bullshit and I feel like shit.
okay.
This hand is I'm losing weight slower, but I feel better, even though the scale doesn't feel like it's moving as fast. You see that this actually is the right choice?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you're choosing. And you're doing all the right things. I'm just trying you waving at the camera. I'm just trying to make it clear to you because it's hard to see it when you're in it, right? That you actually are doing the right things, even though it doesn't feel like it's enough. Because it doesn't feel like enough on the scale, right?
Yes. True.
The way that it will start to feel like enough on the scale is when we focus on the things that are improving in our lives outside of the scale. When's the last time you went 2 weeks without eating candy?
Probably when I was a newborn.
Yeah, literally never, right? Came
No.
out of the womb with a Hershey kiss in your mouth.
That's right.
Mhm. And how do you feel about the fact that you haven't eaten candy in 2 weeks?
I feel good.
How there's a little like kind of hesitation
Well,
there.
I want it, but it's not like I'm thinking about it all day long. My
Would you?
husband isn't eating it. So my husband snacks. It starts at about he eats dinner at like 8. It takes him about an hour. He eats about 7:30 to 9. It takes about an hour and a half because he's so slow. It takes me 2 minutes. Like not a joke, 2 minutes done. And then he starts snacking every night. Last week he pulled out candy and I said, no,
Mhm.
no, you can't have it in front of me.
But it's still in the house, right?
Yeah, and I'm not tempted by what is here except for the honeycomb that I got you guys for
Mhm.
Easter. We still have some of that, but he hid that. I'm not tempted by the candies that he has because they're not my thing. But I don't
Mhm.
want him eating them in front of me because then I start going, we usually sit on the couch, watch TV, and snack.
Yeah. So where we're at on the journey right now is like he's kind of putting stuff in a different place where you don't know where it is, right?
But
And
it's not stuff that I want, so I'm fine with that, except for the one candy.
yeah, but that one candy he has it hidden somewhere.
Yeah, I don't even think about that.
Right. Would you be thinking about it more if it was in the fridge and you saw it every time that you opened it?
Oh yeah, I'd probably have a
Yeah.
bite.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's like most people in your situation would do that, right? And so was I too. And sometimes I still do that kind of stuff right now, right? It's not that that never goes away. But just recognize that the idea that he's hiding food from you is not something that's going to be sustainable. We're not going to address that right now because right now we're still working on getting some routine. But over the next coming weeks, we're going to start working on some of that stuff when it comes to being around the food a little more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for
So right
sure.
now we're still just working on the routine. So it's great that it's in a place where you're not going to see it. But we don't want, in the long term, we don't want him to have to hide food from you in 3 years after you've kept the weight off. Do you see the difference there?
Yeah.
So we're going to address that at some point, probably in the next 3 to 5 weeks as we start seeing more continued progress and feeling a little bit better. Talk to me about, so we're 2 weeks no candy, haven't wanted it a ton, maybe a little bit sometimes.
Right.
Have you eaten out at all? Any fast food specifically in the last week?
No.
So it's been 2 weeks since you've eaten fast food.
Hmm.
How often were you eating fast food before?
Probably 3 or 4 times a week.
And where were you eating? What kind of foods?
Generally Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell. I don't love Taco Bell, but I would get a bean burrito from there. But Chick-fil-A is my
Yeah.
weakness.
How are you feeling about having not eaten fast food for 2 weeks?
I feel good. I haven't actually thought about it very much.
Mm-hmm.
Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out was a bad one last week. I wanted In-N-Out. This
Yeah.
week it's been Chick-fil-A a little, but nothing huge.
What is it that you think has caused you to not think about it that much?
I don't know, maybe because I'm cooking at home and I don't always cook at home.
And you're eating a lot more volume of food than you were before, right?
Yes, for sure.
You're eating healthier food than you were before.
Mhm.
Does it feel true to you that eating healthier food has helped you with these cravings and that eating more volume of food has helped you feel more full?
Yeah, I definitely feel full often now.
Is that a good feeling or a bad feeling?
Well, I don't like feeling stuffed. It makes me sick to my stomach, but I haven't been stuffed to where I feel sick except for on Sunday.
Got it. But what happened on Sunday?
We went out to breakfast and then
Mhm.
all day I just felt bloated in my stomach, not bloated like I felt retaining water in my hands, just like stuffed.
Mhm.
And I didn't eat very much. I had like 2.5 pieces of bacon and some potatoes with cheese. That's it.
You had 2.5 pieces of bacon and potatoes with cheese?
Yeah, and like a handful of potatoes.
Yeah, so when you would have gone out to eat at that place before, what would you have got?
Bacon and French toast.
And this time you had bacon and potatoes. It's been a long time since you've eaten out, so you probably haven't had a ton of really salty food in multiple weeks, right?
Yes, and bacon's super salty.
So that's made you feel like shit and retain some water. Possibly you're actually still retaining that water right now, and that might be why you're a little bit bloated. Is that possible?
Yeah, that could be true because I had it Sunday and yesterday I was super bloated. Today I'm a
Yeah.
little bloated.
It's not normal to feel like shit from eating potatoes and a little bit of bacon, but what might be happening here is you just haven't eaten food like that in a long time. So a lot of the times when people go a long time eating clean food and then they go and eat some junk, which potatoes and bacon aren't necessarily junk. I'm sure they were probably like fried up and
They
stuff,
were
right?
right.
Yeah. So they were prepared in a junk way, but they're not necessarily junk foods, right?
Right.
But you ate that food, you felt a little bit like shit. And then when you came home, did you just kind of return to eating a normal food after that?
Yeah, actually, I think I can't remember. You have my food log. I feel like when I had lunch that day, I had it later and I only had half a sandwich because I was so full.
Yeah. 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 So you went out to eat and you did not overdo it.
Correct.
When's the last time that you went out to eat and made a choice that wasn't total bullshit where you didn't overdo it?
Never. Well, it's not that I overdo it. It's not like I go there and I order 20 things, but I just
Yeah.
don't eat healthy.
Yeah. So you ate much healthier. You didn't eat the
It
healthiest
wasn't
thing you could have
healthy.
got there, but you ate much healthier there, right?
Yeah, I would have gotten the French toast with whipped cream.
Yes. Can you say good job to
Good
yourself?
job. I was going to get it. You told me to think about that choice.
And what was the choice that I told you to think about?
Well, you said try to get some potatoes or fruit or something. And
Mhm.
I didn't go for the fruit. But I was just, when I knew we were going there, I'm like, yeah, I love the French toast there. I'm excited. But you
Mhm.
said that you actually then said, well, why don't you try it and see if you crave more sweets after it?
Mhm.
So you gave me the two options.
Yeah, the two
I,
options were
I
were
didn't want to go crazy wanting candy after that.
yeah, the two options were eat the French toast and see how bad your
See
cravings
how-
are afterwards, right? The second option was make a healthier choice that's gonna make you feel a lot more full. Potatoes are actually the most satiating food on the entire planet for the number of calories. So think about like how big one potato is 120 calories, and the massive russet potatoes are huge, right? So it's like potatoes are great for you. It's when we mix in the constant oil and shit that stuff starts to go a little bit sideways. But you made a much healthier choice than you ever have eaten out in like maybe ever, right?
And I know people are going to go bacon and potatoes is not
Yeah.
healthy, but when you think of the way I eat, it's a better
Yeah.
alternative.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's fuck other people. This is your journey, right?
Hmm.
The one thing that we do want to do when we go out like that is we want to still get a protein source. Like bacon is meat, but there's very minimal protein in there. So it's really hard when we go to a breakfast place. But the challenge, and I invite you to really think about the next time that you go out to eat, how can we get some kind of either sausage or turkey? Like a turkey sausage would be really good to get at a breakfast place like that.
Yeah, you told me to get sausage, but I'm not super fan of sausage.
Yeah, yeah. I know that's really hard. There's with where we're at in the journey, we have to find a way to eat protein with every single meal. So bacon doesn't really count as protein. It's mostly just fat, which is fine, but we need to have some protein as well. Okay. You had a little bit of cheese, some protein in the
Oh
cheese,
yeah, I
right?
had cheese on the potatoes.
Great. Yeah. We definitely want to get some other kind of meat in there next time we go to a place like that. Can you try that next time?
Yes.
I think that'll make you feel not more full, but just more satiated, more energized, and maybe probably a little less bloaty afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else that you're proud of this week? Talk to me about movement. How often did you walk?
I feel like I walked every day.
Yeah, you walked every day. You messaged me every day that you walked as part of our
Okay.
daily accountability. So
Saturday was my biggest day.
the week before that, you walked 4 times in a week, right? And you had said that it might take 20 something days to create a habit of walking, and now it's been 7 days. Do you feel like you have more of the habit now than you had before?
Yes.
It does feel just a little bit easier to get out and walk.
Yeah. Generally, I go get it done in the morning, right? A little bit
Mhm.
after I wake up. Hurts. It's actually
Does it
my thigh. I don't know why I keep saying my hip, but it hurts all the time.
does it hurt more, worse, or the same?
It's been hurting worse, I think, because I've been sleeping on the couch each night.
Is there a way to sleep in the bed, or is that just
Yeah,
not
I'm going to the
feasible?
bed tonight. The puppies are old enough, so I'm going to the bed tonight.
Okay, so potentially this week our thigh might start feeling better. We can keep making some progress with the daily walking.
Yes.
Does it feel like a chore to walk?
No, not really.
Mhm.
I'm fine after I get out and do it. I'm fine when I'm doing it.
And then the last question here, what is the thing this week that was the hardest?
Hardest. I don't know. And I got a little burned out on the food a little bit, like how to do it instead of having the same thing repeatedly. So I don't know if necessary. I mean, my cravings weren't so hard that I had to fight them or anything like that. I don't
But they
think
were they were a little worse than the first week.
the first week I don't think I had any,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, the
right.
first
That's
week
what
I
you
don't think
said.
I really had any. If I did, it was just a little blip.
Yeah, now we're week 2. We have a little bit of cravings.
Yeah.
Why do you think it is that it's different in week 2 than week 1?
I don't know. Maybe because I've gone longer. I don't know.
Yeah, it
Why
might
is
be
it?
that. It might also be looking at the food log. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, what we've been doing is we've had 3 meals for you that all are pretty have a good amount of protein in them that makes you feel really full, right?
Right.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you did not have any protein with your breakfast at all. One of the days you didn't eat breakfast because you didn't feel good. The other 2 days, all you ate were bran flakes, which is just like rice flour cereal with nothing in it, right?
Hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with those foods. It's just that they don't make you feel full. So they're going to perpetuate you having some hunger or some cravings later in the day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when we actually look at like the number of breakfasts out of the last 7 days, only 3 of the times did you actually get a breakfast that had any protein in it. Because 3 of the times you didn't do that smoothie. 2 of the days you had bran flakes. One of the days you didn't eat breakfast. The other day you had potatoes and bacon from a restaurant, right?
Right.
So it's really important that we get our protein in the morning. It's the most important part because it's going to help you feel full and satiated and less craving throughout the whole day. So what we can focus on this week is that no matter what, we get protein into our breakfast. If you have to eat bran flakes because you don't want the smoothie, or you have to eat bran flakes because you're saying they help you go to the bathroom, right? Then we have to get protein with that. Do you have a protein drink that you can drink with that
Yeah.
cereal?
Yeah, I actually have to go buy them. I had one last week or the week before that I liked, but I just had it
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah. So we don't want to make a habit out of eating bran flakes for breakfast every day. But on the days where you do eat that, let's make sure that we're having the protein smoothie at the same time and still getting the half of the banana with breakfast. Okay.
Okay.
How are you doing with fruit intake, bananas and apples specifically?
Apple every day. I think I
Mhm.
had one every day. I might have
Yeah.
missed one day. I can't remember.
Mhm.
And the banana and half a banana in the morning.
So you went from eating no fruit to eating 1 to 1.5 servings of fruit every single day.
And I hate it. I mean, it's
So you
hard.
ate it or you hate it?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a dirty look on my face, like a scowl when I eat that apple every day.
What is it
I do
about
it.
it that
I just sit there and do it and kind of hold my breath when I swallow it.
what is it about it that you hate?
The taste, the
If you
spit on it.
you had to like a fruit, what fruit would you like?
Well, if I had to like it, any of them, I wouldn't care because I would like it.
If there was a food that you had to eat, a fruit that you had to eat every day forever, what fruit would you pick?
It'd probably be the apple.
Because you said you had a blueberry and puked in the backyard a couple weeks ago or something.
No, I haven't had a blueberry in my life.
Yeah. Okay. And before we continue, is there anything else that you want to talk about in regards to the last week?
No, I mean, I felt fine getting through the week. Today was just a little discouraging when I saw the weight.
Okay. So moving into this next week, is there anything that you are worried about or anything that you want to talk about for next week specifically?
Sunday, we're going out for Mother's Day.
What are you
But
guys
we're
doing
going
for
to a
Mother's
barbecue place where I can get a chicken breast. So I'll have a
Day?
chicken breast, which is barbecued, so it's not fried, and I'll have probably some beans or something.
Does that feel like a celebratory meal for you?
No, not really, because I eat chicken all the time.
Yeah. So
But
what if,
I will like it. It'll be somebody else cooking it and cooked differently.
yeah, if you were to celebrate Mother's Day, what would you want to eat to celebrate that?
In and out,
Well, why don't you guys just go to In-N-Out instead of going to the chicken place?
because it's a couple hours away.
So you want to drive a couple hours to In-N-Out on Mother's Day?
No, I don't want to drive, but that's why I'm not having in and out.
Yeah. So if you had to like eat food that you were actually excited about for Mother's Day, what would the food be?
It would be in and out. I would go to in and
Mom,
out, but in and out is
Mom, if you were to eat like reasonably, because you said you're not going to drive, if you were to eat a food there locally that got you excited,
oh,
what would
okay.
it
It'd
be?
be pizza. It'd probably
What
be
would?
Pedro's pizza
So why don't you guys get pizza for Mother's Day instead?
because nobody else wants to do that. We've got three mothers in the mix. Got 3 mothers in the mix. And you know what? I'll feel better eating the chicken and, a cup of beans as opposed to the pizza anyways.
But will that feel like a celebration for you, or will that just feel like blah?
So it won't be blah. I'll like it because I'm not cooking it and it's different
Yeah.
than the way I'm cooking.
That's great. I love that you're eating foods that are healthy that other people are also going to eat. At the same time, when we're celebrating something, it's just important that you actually enjoy the meal and that it feels like something out of the ordinary and like a celebration for you, right? Like if
Right.
you were here and it was my birthday, we would get birthday cake and you would eat the birthday cake with me, right?
Yes.
So it's Mother's Day, which is the equivalent or more, you could argue, than my birthday, right? So let's just
Right.
make sure that we get something in that meal that feels like a celebration. Maybe there's a dessert at the barbecue place that you
You
can
know what
get.
I'll have then? I will have croutons and blue cheese dressing.
You're gonna croutons and blue cheese dressing.
Well, since you
You think that-
said celebrate, I love that.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Let's get like 10 croutons in a bowl with a little bit of blue cheese on them.
10? Okay.
Yeah, 10 croutons is like 2 pieces of toast equivalent of croutons.
No, it's not.
Yeah, let's do like a small handful of croutons with some blue cheese. Would that feel good to have with the chicken?
Would love that.
Yes. The idea is not to never eat the foods that you love. It's to eat them when there's a reason to eat them. And Mother's Day is a great reason to eat a little bit of something that feels indulgent to you. Can you see that?
I see that. And I understand that. And I totally agree with you on that. And I've heard you say that a lot to a lot of people. But
Mhm.
with it being so soon in my journey, that's my
Mhm.
only hesitation for stuff.
What about why? Why? Because it's soon in your journey.
Just because it's so soon. I mean, it's not like I've only gone 2 weeks without having my favorite stuff. That's not a long time.
Isn't that the longest you've ever gone?
Yeah, but it's not a long time in the overall of my whole journey. It's just a
Yeah.
little blip,
What's your goal weight?
160.
So let's say you were 160 pounds. Would you feel a little better eating the croutons if you were 160 pounds?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we're actually doing, and you're not wrong for thinking this, I'm just helping you come back to a more sustainable way of thinking here. We're practicing living the lifestyle that we would live as if we were already healthy. Do you remember when we did the Stacy versus your cats thing?
Yeah.
How many croutons would Stacy have on Mother's Day?
Well, a whole bowl full.
No. So that would be your cats,
Oh,
right?
the cats would have that.
Yeah. So how many
Stacy,
would Stacy have?
she'd probably just pick at it and not really give a shit.
So she'd have like 10 croutons
Yeah.
with a little bit of blue cheese because she loves blue cheese, right?
Right.
Now, how many would your cats have?
A whole bowl full and then some.
Or your cats would say, I can't eat any croutons because I'm on a diet, right? And then she would feel like shit about it, feel like she missed out on the croutons, and then go crazy like 3 or 4 days later thinking about them all the time. Can you see that?
Yes.
So it's one or the other because your cats is really extreme because your cats is actually afraid of croutons. Can you see that? Stacy is not afraid of croutons. Stacy can eat 10 croutons without feeling like shit about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is we're not trying to avoid eating our favorite foods. We're trying to develop a healthy relationship with them. And the only way we can do that is if we eat them when there's a reason to eat them. And Mother's Day is a great reason.
It is for sure. I wish it were here.
Yes, so do I. So you feel like you're ending your streak of not eating bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's actually the streak doesn't matter because this isn't AA. We're not like how many days can you go without drinking, right?
Right. That's
We're
true.
actually, if you're finding this podcast helpful, please send it to your friends that are also struggling. It's not just me. It's not just my mom. It's not just you. 40% of people in the world seem like they're constantly restarting their diets every Monday and thinking that they're going to just restrict themselves into permanent weight loss and that this time it's really going to be it. They deserve to know that there actually is a way to put the issue behind them and that they don't have to live with it forever. Selfishly, it just really helps me grow the show, grow the podcast, and grow my impact on the world as well. I appreciate your support. We're actually going to break this streak right now with our exercise. So, what food did you bring for our exercise today?
This is a $21 Chick-fil-A biscuit. 20.
Why is it?
I wasn't going to drive there because it'd be an hour round trip with traffic. And
You got it.
then the DoorDash driver actually said, "Oh my gosh, I looked at it and I thought, what?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing an experiment with my son."
So, you got it delivered.
I got it delivered.
Do you have anything else with you or just the sandwich?
I only got the sandwich. I didn't get the hash browns or anything.
So, we're going to do this. I'm going to walk you through eating that sandwich right now. It can be
I
super
have to eat it on
uncomfortable.
tape.
We're going to eat it on tape. If you want, I can cut this out. It doesn't need to be a part. This is about your journey and other
Okay.
people benefiting from seeing your journey. But when you see it, if it looks uncomfortable, we'll cut it out. Okay.
Do I get
Are
to
you?
open
Yes. Open it up. For those of you that are only listening, my mom is opening her Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich right now.
it?
When is the last time that you ate Chick-fil-A?
I think a day before I started this, maybe 2 days
Mhm.
before.
And this is one of your favorite foods outside of In-N-Out, right?
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is my favorite.
And do you like the biscuits a lot, or are we just eating the biscuit because it's breakfast?
I like the biscuit.
Okay. So hold it up. Let me see. Let me see it. That is a bit. Those are thick, huh?
Yeah, not so big. It's little. My hands are little. It's not very big.
How does it feel holding that biscuit?
It feels good.
You're smiling, right? Do you like really? So look at the food for a second. Do you miss the biscuit? But don't hold it up to the camera. You just
Like
look
an
at it.
actual biscuit or the whole thing?
The whole thing. Do you miss? It's a biscuit chicken sandwich.
I don't get the breakfast often, maybe 4 or 5 times a year, but I
Yeah.
like the breakfast sandwich.
Okay.
I
So
haven't been a breakfast eater. I don't usually eat breakfast.
let's go and let's have a bite of it and then swallow it. It's in whatever way feels good to you.
Okay. This is really weird.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the end of your streak of not eating fast food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're never going to have a streak that we're counting ever again because healthy people don't count streaks of not eating bullshit food. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to give you an idea, I can't tell you how many days it's been. I don't keep track of how many days it's been since I've eaten fast food. I'd have to really think about it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
And
what
when you
we're
get fast food, it is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. Well, yeah, they don't have Chick-fil-A down here now, but yes, Chick-fil-A is my favorite fast food too. And I get Chick-fil-A like probably once a month when I'm in the US.
And actually, it's the lowest calorie fast food.
Oh, well, that's great. The
I know.
calories don't matter. It's
I know, but
do
I
you
mean,
like
it's, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna do this. I want you to look at this food. You just had a bite, right?
I'll take the
How was
top
your,
off because it's just too thick of bread.
that's okay. How was your, like, you don't like it or you feel like it's too many calories?
No, it's just too thick. It's kind of dry because it sat for an hour.
Do you like it better like that?
Yes, I like it.
I want you to eat it the way that you like it the most right now.
I like it like this.
Okay. So you just had a bite. How was the bite?
It's good.
How good? 1 through 10 was that bite?
8,
8. Okay.
maybe a 7 because it's dry.
Okay. We'll call it a 7. So I want you to look at the food for a second and imagine, keep looking at it. It's okay. It can be weird. It doesn't have to be so
Stare
serious.
at it.
Stare at the food.
Okay.
And I want you to look at this food and to really think for a second. All those things that we talked about on the call last week
Mm-hmm.
around feeling like shit, feeling uncomfortable naked, hating what we see when we look in the mirror,
Mm-hmm.
feeling like you're afraid of dying, almost dying in the hospital recently,
Right.
wanting to be there for your grandkids, but being afraid that you won't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look back at the food.
What are you doing? What
And
are
I
you
want you
for?
and I want you to repeat after me.
Okay.
While you look at the food, I want you to speak to this Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, okay?
Okay.
You are not the problem.
You are not the problem.
My relationship to you is the problem.
My relationship to you is the problem.
The way that I have used you is a problem.
The way that I have used you is a problem.
You are not the enemy.
You're not the enemy.
I don't hate you.
I don't hate you. I love you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, I love you. Say,
I love you.
in the past, you have made my life worse.
In the past, you've made my life worse.
I am choosing for you to make my life better moving forward.
I am choosing for you to make my life better moving forward. I
The
feel
way
like
that,
I'm saying marriage vows to somebody that I hate.
yeah,
It's really weird, like a douchebag or something.
this food was put on this planet to make your life better, not worse. I want you to say one more thing. Say, I am no longer going to use you to hide from my problems.
I am no longer going to use you to hide from my problems.
When I eat you in excess, I feel like shit.
When I eat you in excess, I feel like shit.
When I eat you multiple times a week, I feel like shit.
When I eat you multiple times a week, I eat like shit. I feel like shit.
Moving forward, I will only eat you when there's a good reason to.
Moving forward, I will only eat you when there's a good reason to.
Now we're going to wrap this up. We're going to say, you will only be in my life when I choose for you to be in my life.
You'll only be in my life when I choose for you to be in my life. It's really
And
weird staring at a chicken sandwich
and
this
then
whole time.
and then last thing, when I eat you, I will fucking enjoy it.
When I eat you, I will fucking enjoy it.
Yes. So now I want you to take a bite of the chicken sandwich and keep it in your mouth for a second. Don't even chew. Close your eyes. And I want you to imagine, it's okay, you can smile. I want you to imagine that this is the last bite of a chicken sandwich you are ever going to have. So chew it really slow
Gosh.
and see if you can taste each individual grain of salt on your tongue. Can you taste that a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Chew it for 20 more seconds. Chew it excessively before you swallow. Just try. See if you can taste that there's even sugar in there. See if you can taste the little bit of sugar in there. See
It
if you
just
can
is
taste.
really salty.
It's okay. Okay. So
I
now
swallowed.
let's swallow it. Did you already swallow it?
Yeah, turn to water.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to try one more time. I want you to go just a little bit slower when you take the bite. Oh my God. Don't exaggerate this. Keep it in your mouth. Really chew it twice as slow as you did before. This is the last bite of a chicken sandwich you are ever going to have. Feel the salt, feel the crumbliness of the bread on your tongue and in your teeth. And then when
Hmm.
you swallow, I want you to put your hand and follow it down your body into your stomach with your hand. So
Right.
follow it down your neck. Just try. Swallow it slow and imagine that you're feeling it go down your body.
I can't feel it go down my body, but okay.
That's okay. Did that taste different than the first bite that you had?
Maybe, yeah. It just now I really taste salt for some reason.
Yeah. So it tastes much saltier than you did before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this food is salty as fuck, Mom. The reason that you don't
So
realize that is,
salty.
is because you eat it mindlessly. Do
And
you
I
get
eat
what I
so
mean?
fast.
You eat fast and you're not even looking at the food when you eat it.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? You're not actually even enjoying the food. You're just scarfing it down,
Do
right?
you look at all your food before you eat it?
All of it. Every single bite that goes into my mouth, I look at. Yeah. But
Really?
that's something that I taught myself so that I can, it's not about slowing down and breathing and all the shit that everyone says. It's about just connecting with your food. Because you're finding that when you actually connected with your food, you looked at it, you felt it with your hands, you looked at it for a long time, too long, right?
Well, you
And
made
then
me.
you, yeah,
That's
and then
weird.
you chewed it and you focused on the flavor of the food, right?
Right.
The food tasted totally different.
Totally
A lot
different.
of the times what you'll find is that food tastes a lot better. A lot of the times what you'll find is that food tastes a lot worse or stronger than you thought. So if you were to do this with like a Reese's peanut butter cup, you like Reese's, right?
Love Reese's.
You might go, "Oh my God, I didn't realize like how sweet and how sugary it is." And that could be, you would think about that food forever for the rest of your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So as whenever you're eating celebratory foods, I want you to really practice slowing down and chewing it twice as slow and looking at every bite before you eat it and focus on how it actually tastes and let yourself enjoy it.
Okay.
So instead of just you sitting on the couch and scarfing it, which is what you do before, right?
Right.
You're going to sit there, look at the food and take a bite.
Okay. Will do.
What does it feel like to connect with your I know you think this stuff is really weird. What does it feel like
Yeah.
to connect with your food in that way?
Different, but what you're
Yeah.
saying is true.
Yeah, is it mind-blowing to you that this chicken sandwich tastes different than it ever has, and it's the same chicken sandwich you've always eaten?
Yes. Totally weird.
What's weird about it?
Well, that it doesn't taste the same
Mhm.
and that
Yeah.
it tastes so salty.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
never salt my food, but I eat salty food.
Yeah.
But I could really taste the salt in that.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're actually letting yourself taste it instead of just eating it to try to feel better in this for a moment. Do you see that? Yeah. So when you go out to what to Mother's Day, is it dinner that you guys are going to?
Lunch.
Lunch, when you go to Mother's Day lunch here next week, when you eat those croutons, like really sit there and eat one crouton at a time. Don't do a handful or a spoonful of them, right? Dip that crouton in the blue cheese dressing the way that you like and the way that I like too. I haven't had that in years though. And feel how salty those croutons are and let yourself really enjoy that salt instead of just being like, okay, I'm going to eat these super quick and like dip them. Can you try that this week?
Yeah, I will for sure.
Okay. Film a video of yourself before you go out to eat that meal and say like, this is my intention, is to slow down when I eat and enjoy it. And then film a video afterwards talking about what that experience was like. Because what we want to avoid is just doing things one time and then stopping. We want to actually make them permanent habits. So it's going to take us documenting it to do that. Could you do that for me?
Yeah.
Well, we're the end of week 2. We're going into week 3. How are you feeling about week 3?
I'm excited. I get excited, especially for Tuesdays to get on the scale.
Yeah, you can keep eating that chicken sandwich. You got to finish the chicken sandwich.
Okay.
How are you feeling? Is there anything that you're worried about this week besides that Mother's Day lunch?
No food worries.
So you're just having less cravings than you had before, a little more the last week, but you've also been less consistent with eating full breakfasts, right?
Yes.
So this week we're going to be more consistent with eating full breakfasts, and we're setting the intention that that helps us with our cravings.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned earlier you had one craving for In-N-Out but didn't go, right? Or one craving for candy and didn't eat it.
Candy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a time for Mother's Day maybe you can have a piece of candy? Would that feel good to you?
Maybe, yeah.
Well, why maybe? I thought you loved candy.
I do
Why
love
not? Fuck
candy,
yeah.
but if I eat out, if I'm not hungry after, I'm not going to get any candy. I wasn't even thinking of candy.
Yeah, but why don't you just eat half of a honeycomb piece?
Maybe I will.
Would that feel good to do that and to try that?
Yeah, hopefully I eat it and I don't love it like I did before.
Well, hopefully you love it more than you did before, so that it's like an actual treat when you eat it instead of a normal thing. It's like imagine if somebody that was an alcoholic could go and drink one glass of wine on their birthday and really enjoy it instead of drinking it to dissociate. Do you see the difference there?
Mm-hmm.
So you can eat half of a bar or a full bar of a not a king size candy and like actually enjoy it and let that be something that makes your full day better, makes you feel better about yourself, The key is that you eat a full breakfast beforehand and still eat a normal lunch and a normal dinner. So on that day, you might not be in a calorie deficit. You might not lose weight that day, right?
Right.
But what we're working on is hold both your hands up one more time. I know you think it's cheesy. This is my relationship with food,
Right.
and this is my I want to lose weight as fast as possible. So when you eat half of a candy bar and not the full thing, you might not lose weight that meal, right? But
Right.
you are having a win on the relationship with food piece. You see that?
Yes.
That is like actually the core of what we're doing here is teaching you how to eat bullshit foods every once in a while without it being such a big
Obsessive.
deal. Yeah. And the reason why we haven't done that the first couple weeks is because I need you to get used to what it feels like to be a human being and to have a little bit more energy and to not have such intense cravings all the time. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So now that you don't have intense cravings, let's eat. Your homework this week is to eat those 10 croutons, right? Or a
Okay.
handful, and to eat either half or a full normal size candy bar, but not a king size one. Can you do both those things this week?
I definitely will. Thank
You're
you.
going to record a video beforehand and record a video afterwards talking about what it was like
For the Easter lunch.
for the Mother's Day lunch. Yes.
I mean, Mother's Day. Okay.
And then the third thing this week is we're going to eat a full breakfast every day. If you eat bran flakes, we're going to do a protein drink with the bran flakes.
Okay.
Are you good on those three things?
I am.
You're making so much progress. It's been 2 weeks since you've had candy. You just had your first fast food in 2 weeks after eating it every other day for your whole life or more sometimes, right?
Right.
In the last 2 weeks, you've lost 5 pounds. You're
That's
super
good.
bloated. You're super bloated right now. We don't know exactly why. You felt a little bit discouraged because you only lost 0.6 pounds, but you're also bloated. And if you lost 0.6 pounds every week for the next year, you would be close to your goal weight. You feel all that?
I do. Yeah, I wasn't looking at like 5 pounds for the 2 weeks.
Is it helpful to look at it like that?
Definitely more helpful. Not as discouraging for me.
Anything else that you want to talk about going into the next week?
I think you covered it all.
How proud of yourself are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Probably, well, I'm proud. Probably a 10 because I've done
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm proud.
Yeah. The last thing that we didn't talk about, you said that you feel a little bland on some of the foods.
Mhm.
What foods are you feeling bland on specifically?
Well, the beef is hard for me because I'm out of things to do with the beef. So
What?
just eating a hamburger patty for me with some cheese on it, even with just
Yeah.
the lettuce, I just feel like I'm really missing the bun.
Yeah. Are you eating? Well, you're still eating like a bun or bread at least once a day,
I'm having
right?
one bread, either a tortilla or bread for my sandwich.
Yeah. So we breakfast is like you've got breakfast figured out, right?
Yeah.
We've got either bran flakes plus protein, which we don't want to do more than once to twice a week. And then we've got our protein smoothie, which is what we want to be doing on a daily basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then lunches, you're getting there and you're eating beef, but you're feeling blah about the beef because you're just eating it with lettuce or plain.
Right.
What is preventing you from making that into a sandwich or into a burger?
Because I usually would already had a bread.
So why don't we reserve the bread for that? And then the other things we can do not having bread with all the time.
Yeah, I do that too. I'm used to
Yeah.
having bread all the time. I think it's just like maybe it's like a comfort to have the bread on the hamburger or, I have lunch turkey.
Yeah, but it's weird to eat a burger without a bun. Is there a different way that we could eat the beef?
Well, I have been doing other stuff with it. I put it in a taco salad. I put it in
Yeah.
a shepherd's pie with no, crust or anything.
So
So
we've got like the ways that we can eat beef is in a burger with a bun. We can eat it in a wrap like a burrito, right?
huh?
Those are the bread options. Or we can throw it in a taco shell. Those are like the breaded options, right?
Right.
And then we can non-breaded options throw in the shepherd's pie, that kind of recipe that you've been doing that doesn't have any bread or flour in it. And then we can also throw it into a lettuce wrap
And a taco salad.
in a taco salad. So that's six. We got 6 different ways that we can eat the beef.
Yeah.
If you were to do each one of those for one day for 6 consecutive days, do you think that you'd feel more variety in that beef?
Yeah, probably.
Are
Yeah.
there different seasonings that we can put on the beef to make it feel different?
I haven't been seasoning it because of that feeling that I'm getting of retaining water.
Yeah, let's just still season the beef.
Okay.
That's not going to make that big of a
I
difference.
put pepper on it, but that's
Yeah.
it.
So we can do salt plus pepper. We could do cumin and make it like Mexican style. We could do paprika and cayenne. And those are all really different. Those combinations with the 6 other we just talked about, that's like 40 different combinations of ways you can eat that beef. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
And then we can throw on different sauces. You've been putting a little bit of barbecue on stuff. Putting a half a tablespoon of barbecue versus putting on some hot sauce is like a totally different meal. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You've also got recipes with cheese and without cheese, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's like literally 250 plus different combinations when you start mixing all those things up. So let's try this week mixing it up a little bit with that beef. Because what's
Okay.
going to happen is you get super bored. I know speaking at you a lot right now, but I want you to really understand this. If you start getting really bored with these foods, you're going to end up just quitting. It's very important that we mix it up in a way that we actually like. So do you think that there's some other ways that we can throw sauce or seasoning on any of those 6 things that could taste different to you?
Yeah, I could do that. I'm not going to quit either. So this is not.
No, I know. I just want it to feel this is where people typically quit, and this is where you've quit in the past, right? You get bored of the food.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'm eating food that I hate.
Yeah, you eat food you hate, or you feel like you're missing out on your foods, or yeah, you're getting bored of the food that you don't like. So now
Mm-hmm.
let's try to find a way to make these foods more exciting. I know that you're not going to quit, but I don't want this doesn't have to suck as much as it maybe has the last few days. So let's
Okay.
just make that adjustment so that we can feel a little bit better and a little more sustainable about it.
Okay.
You're kicking ass. Can you say I'm proud of myself?
I'm proud of myself. And thank you.
Who are your top 4 people on this planet?
You, your sister, my husband,
Mhm.
and probably Katie and Marianne.
Okay, so let's try again. Do you remember last time when we did this?
What?
And you, where are you on the list?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's try one more time. Let's reorder the top 4 people on this planet.
Okay. Me, Nicholas, Peyton, and Aaron,
Yeah, because what happens if you
and
do
my dog.
not put yourself first on the list? What happens?
What happens if I don't put myself first? I'm not looking out for myself.
And what happens if you don't look out for yourself?
Then I wouldn't be doing this.
And then what would happen? You would die or get diabetes and die in the next 5 to 10 years, probably, right?
Okay.
So in putting yourself first, you're actually helping all the other people on the list. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, let's try again. Who are the top 4 people in the world?
Well, the same that I just said. Me,
Yeah, one more time.
and Aaron. Me, Aaron, Nicholas, Peyton.
Yes, yes, you deserve that. We're going to keep hammering that home until it becomes, I know it feels cheesy, but until it becomes a really default state. That's one of the biggest things that we're going to learn here because you've always put other people first your whole life, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing this journey for who?
Myself.
And who benefits from you doing this journey for yourself
Me.
and everybody else?
People that I love. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I love you and I'm proud of you. You're kicking ass. You're right where you're supposed to be. I'll see you on the call next week, okay?
Okay. Bye.
Congratulations. Bye.
Thanks.
If you made it to the end of this podcast episode and you're fed the fuck up with being fat, the same way I was, and the same way that my mom is right now, and you're ready to lose weight and actually put the issue behind you for good this time by addressing your relationship with food, your relationship with yourself, your mindset, the things that led to you being so fat in the first place, and permanent and sustainable lifestyle changes over quick fixes in fad diets, the Common Sense Diet System is built specifically for you. If you'd like for me to guide you through it the same way that you're watching me guide my mom through it right now, you can click the link in the description of this podcast episode, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. See y'all next week.